Today, I'm going over the section in chapter 12 called The Attraction of Love for Love. Do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? The Father has hidden his Son safely within himself and kept him far away from your destructive thoughts. But you know neither the Father nor the Son because of them. You attack the real world every day and every hour and minute. And yet you are surprised that you cannot see it. If you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it. For if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Offer it and it will come to you because it is drawn to itself. But offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. So this first paragraph is talking about the difference between ego's special love and real love, which comes from spirit, which comes from God. So first he's asking, do you really believe you can kill the Son of God? Well, from the ego's perspective, yes, we do think that we can kill the Son of God. Whether it be the perception that people are killing people within the world, whether we are just denying our truth and identifying with ego, those are all forms of killing the Son of God. And he's saying that that's not possible. We could never kill the Son of God because our truth is that we are eternal beings and God created us just like him. So we can only dream that we can kill the Son of God. We can't actually do it. That's why he's saying that he has kept us far away from our destructive thoughts. So we can think this world, we can make this world with our thoughts and make all sorts of death within this world with our thoughts, but none of it's true. And he's saying that when we're doing that, when we're locked in ego and having these destructive thoughts, that we do not know the Father or the Son because we're not identifying with our truth, that we are a spirit, that we are beings extending love eternally. We don't know that when we're identifying with ego. When he's saying that we attack the world every day, every hour, and every minute, that means any time that we are perceiving with the ego. That's what we're doing. And then he tells us, but you're surprised that you can't see it. We can't see it because we're so tricked by the ego, because we're so believing the ego's perception that we just don't even question it. When he says, if you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it, that's what egos do. They seek love and then they attack it. Along with special ego love always comes special hate. It's the flip side of the same coin. So seeking love from an ego perspective is actually attack. And if we're seeking love within the world, we will never find it because that's not where real love is. He's telling us that love is sharing. That's the same as practicing forgiveness. That's the same as the miracle. It's when we perceive everyone and everything as spirit, just as they really are. That's sharing. He's saying offer it and it will come to you. When we offer with our mind by perceiving with Holy Spirit that we are all one and that we are all spirit, that perception comes back to us. Now we're perceiving ourselves that way as well. But he's saying offer attack and love will remain hidden. We offer attack by identifying with the world and with ego. And as long as we're doing that, love, true love, what love really is, remains hidden. He's saying, for it can live only in peace. Well, peace is our truth. That's where love really is. God's Son is as safe as his Father, for the Son knows his Father's protection and cannot fear. His Father's love holds him in perfect peace, and needing nothing, he asks for nothing. Yet he is far from you whose self he is, for you choose to attack him, and he disappeared from your sight into his Father. He did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not created by the Father, and could not live in the knowledge of him. So this paragraph is reminding us that we are safe at home in heaven with our Father. Heaven is a state of oneness. Our Father means our Creator. It's reminding us that we are loved and perfectly safe. And only when we are misperceiving and dreaming things that aren't true are we choosing attack. He's saying that our truth has never changed. But because we have a split mind, we are perceiving that we did, that we changed. But he's saying it's not true. You are safe and you are loved. When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. Okay, so our truth, which is spirit, which is love, which is wholeness, which is oneness, is now invisible to us because we took something that was not true and made it visible. So all we're seeing now is something that is not true. And this course is teaching us how to perceive correctly so that we can perceive our truth, which from our ego perception appears to be invisible. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the Holy Spirit sees it with perfect clarity. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. What are we looking at? The ego. The ego's false perception. The ego's pretend dream. That's what we're looking at. So our truth then becomes invisible. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. What can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees. The definition of reality is God's, not yours. He created it, and He knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten. And unless He had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. So this paragraph is reminding us that we know nothing. We don't know what's visible. We don't know what's invisible. We don't know what our truth is. We don't know what the lie is. We know nothing. But God knows. And Holy Spirit is the memory of God, the voice for God within our dream. If we didn't have that, if we didn't have Holy Spirit, which is the tether to our home, which is God and heaven, if we didn't have that, we would have condemned ourselves to oblivion. But the good news, he's saying, is that it's not possible. Because of your Father's love, you can never forget Him. For no one can forget what God Himself placed in His memory. That's Holy Spirit. We can never detach ourselves from Holy Spirit, no matter how hard we try. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. A voice will answer every question you ask, and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth. And what you have not heard is the only answer. God would reunite you with yourself and did not abandon you in your distress. You are waiting only for Him and do not know it. Yet His memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is no more past than future, being forever always. You have but to ask for this memory. So he's reminding us in this paragraph that no matter how hard we try, we can never lose our truth. He's reminding us that what we made invisible, which is our truth, is the only thing that's true. And that everything we're seeing is false and a lie. He's telling us that all the answers are there for us if we choose to listen. When he says that God would reunite you with yourself, that's metaphor. God knows nothing of this world. God knows nothing of our split mind. God knows nothing of our dream. So this is written to us in metaphor as tiny children who want to believe that God misses us and that God would fix this for us. It's okay to think thoughts like that. The truth is that it's Holy Spirit that's doing that, not God. God knows nothing of this world. He tells us that we are waiting only for God, but we don't know it. He's reminding us that God's memory is always shining in our mind. That's Holy Spirit. And that God's memory cannot be obliterated. That's true. Holy Spirit could never be obliterated. Why is it no more past than future? Because past and future do not exist. There is only the now moment forever and always. You have but to ask for his memory and you will remember. Yet the memory of God cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated it and wants to keep it so. For the memory of God can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. Yep, that's what the ego wants to do, to control everything, including its false dream that it wants to convince us is reality. You, who cannot even control yourself, should hardly aspire to control the universe. Oh, Jesus, he's so funny. That's true. But look upon what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. So he's asking us to rejoice that we have not been able to obliterate our truth and control reality. Son of God, be not content with nothing. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. God could not offer his Son what has no value, nor could his Son receive it. What has no value? The ego, the world. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted him, meaning it never happened. The separation never happened. That's what he means by saying that we were redeemed. It was over the instant we thought that it started, because it never really happened. Everything you made has never been and is invisible because the Holy Spirit does not see it. Okay, this world is invisible in truth because it doesn't really exist. Yet what he does see is yours to behold, and through his vision your perception is healed. You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. That's Holy Spirit. Valuing nothing, you have sought nothing. We valued the ego. We have sought nothing because the ego is nothing. We have sought the world, and the world is nothing. That's why he's saying everything you made has never been. It's not real. By making nothing real to you, you have seen it, but it is not there. And Christ is invisible to you because of what you have made visible to yourself. What did we make visible to ourselves? The world, the ego's perception. And when we did that, we made Christ invisible to us. Yet it does not matter how much distance you have tried to interpose between your awareness and truth. God's Son can be seen because his vision is shared. The Holy Spirit looks upon him and sees nothing else in you. What is invisible to you is perfect in his sight and encompasses all of it. He has remembered you because he forgot not the Father. You looked upon the unreal and found despair. Yet by seeking the unreal, what else could you find? Right? What else could we find but despair if we are searching in the world? The unreal world is a thing of despair, for it can never be. Right? That's our world that we think is real. That's the ego's world. It is a thing of despair, and it can never be because it never really was. And you who share God's being with him could never be content without reality. Meaning we're never going to be content in this world. We will never be content as long as we are perceiving with the ego. The only thing we will ever be content with is our reality, which is that we are spirit, that we are whole, we are one, extending love eternally. That is our reality, and we will never be content until we perceive our reality. And then we need to keep practicing perceiving our reality in this false world so that we can awaken our split mind. What God did not give you has no power over you. That's this world. That's the ego. He didn't give it to us, and it has no power over us. And the attraction of love for love remains irresistible, for it is the function of love to unite all things unto itself, and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness. So the attraction of love for love is real love, God's love. We're attracted to love because we want to give love. It is a never-ending flow of love extending out. That is our truth. That is what we desire. And it is the only thing that brings us peace and contentment. That's why he's telling us the function of love is to unite all things unto itself. There's only one of us. So we need to love everybody. We need to generalize. We need to know that everyone is the same. We are all the one innocent child of God. The real world was given you by God in loving exchange for the world you made and the world you see. So he's saying the world we made and the world we see is the ego's world, but God is offering us the real world. Only take from it the hand of Christ and look upon it. Meaning, in this false ego world, don't do anything except take the hand of Christ and look upon it. Meaning, practicing forgiveness. Meaning, Christ consciousness, this oneness, this wholeness, this unconditional love. Only look upon that within the false world. This is how we awaken. Its reality will make everything else invisible, for beholding it is total perception. So when we learn to see our true reality through Christ or through Holy Spirit, that makes the false dream invisible. We start to not believe it anymore. We start to not see things through the ego's perception anymore. We learn to see things through Spirit's perception. And that's how we begin to learn who and what we really are. And as you look upon it, you will remember that it was always so. Right? Nothing ever changed. Our truth has always been our truth. Our real world has always been our real world. We're just dreaming that something else is happening. That's it. Nothingness will become invisible, for you will at last have seen truly. So the nothingness is this world. The nothingness is ego's perception. So the more we practice seeing truly, the more this nothingness, this ego perception, will become invisible. Redeemed perception is easily translated into knowledge, for only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been. All right, so we only need perception within the false dream. Knowledge is when we are fully awakened and we know who we are. In the meantime, while we appear to be here in this dream and we have a split mind, we need to use perception as a tool. That's why he's saying perception has never been, because the world has never been. There was never any need for perception when you know who and what you really are. And none of that has ever happened. We've never really separated. We've never really forgotten who we are. We're just dreaming that we did. So within that dream, we need to use perception as a tool to help our mind awaken. And when we do that enough, eventually we will awaken and our perception will be translated into knowledge. Being corrected, it gives place to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The atonement is but the way back to what was never lost. Your Father could not cease to love his Son. Beautiful words to remind us that our reality, which is heaven, a state of oneness with one another and with God, has always been our reality and will always be our reality. The atonement, the at-one-ment, knowing that we are one, is the way back home. And he's reminding that God has never stopped loving us. We just stopped perceiving that we are loved by God.